Okay, same as I
Thanks very much.
Ryan, your bag is number, you're on bus 4, right?
Yeah.
That's good. Your case is on it.
So where do you want to put the green one? I take that long.
The grey one,
Grey one.
the music one.
No,
Music-
your red bag with your names on it. A red case with Brian's name.
No, that's Josephine's.
Oh, that's on bus 4, right?
Down to 10 degrees centigrade, 10 to 12, a little bit of showers, but otherwise also sunshine, so it will not be raining all the time. So the climate is not Arctic in Scandinavia and Finland, so hence we do not have any polar bears. Yeah. So that's important. Yes. And we are one of the 5 Nordic countries, very much we have the same legal and political system, we share the same values. But you know, there we have a controversy. This is a very, very serious matter. I want you to remember this. You know, one myth about Finland that's true is that Santa Claus lives here. So, he lives in a fell called Korvatunturi up in the Lapland of Finland. And if you heard anything else, don't believe that. All right. Can we start? Anyhow? Okay. We will start driving. Landon. There's some lock that is not close enough. So the population is kind of concentrated in southern and central Finland, and today we say that they have more reindeer than people up there. That's now the lock is closed again. And Helsinki is quite safe. The center is so small that you can easily walk to the most, in the very center of the city. But otherwise we do have a very good public transportation system here too. But anyhow, it's nice to walk, and people do walk a lot in Finland and in Helsinki. There is one danger though, and I would like you to tell it to you, and that is to look out for bicycles when you walk in town. There's a path for bicycles between where people walk and where the cars drive, and sometimes they come very fast, and if you don't know about it, you don't. It's easy to forget to look out for them. So bicycles, that's that can be a danger here in Helsinki, but otherwise it's very safe. You can also drink tap water. No problem with that. We think it's quite good, the water here in Helsinki, and then of course we have the euro, the same currency, so no problems with that either. Today it is Saturday, and of course it will be quite quiet, more quiet with the traffic in the afternoon today and tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have a sightseeing, a 3-hour sightseeing in the city, and I will tell you more about the history of the city and the sights then. Today you have your lunch at once when we get to the hotel, and then you will have dinner at 7 p.m. or at 19 at the hotel. So you need not to walk far for that way away. Yeah. Actually I mentioned Lapland for you, that is then the northern province of Finland. They do have a Lapland in Sweden and Norway too, and there live among others the Sami people. Their former name they were called Lapps, but Sami is their own word for them. And some of the Sami, they still live in the traditional way, in the sense that they still herd reindeer. But they live in houses, and they have snow scooters, and some of them even herd the reindeer, which are semi-wild. They herd them with helicopters, so no problem with that. And the Sami, they talk about 6 seasons. You know, we have these 4 usual seasons, and we are now in autumn. But for the Sami, the 5th season is Ruska. And it's exactly this time of the year when the leaves, the first frost has come and the leaves turn yellow and red. And especially up in Lapland, it's all the ground is red and yellow. It's very beautiful there too. And it may last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And this is the 5th season, Ruska. And you are just here in southern Finland in the Ruska time. The Sami people talk of a 6th season and of course the winter and then Kaamos. And Kaamos is that time of the year in winter when the sun does not rise above the horizon at all. You have probably heard that we have the midnight sun, especially in the north. Here in Helsinki the sun sets in summer, during midsummer, which is around the 24th of June. It sets for a couple of hours, but in Lapland they have the midnight sun. And that's about maybe not 90, about 60 days. But in winter they have the counterpart, it's quite dark, and Kaamos is the time when the sun doesn't rise above the horizon at all. So that's their 6th season. We don't really experience Kaamos in that way here in southern Finland, but also in Lapland they usually have the snow on the ground, and snow is white, it reflects any light there might be, so it's not pitch black dark during Kaamos up there, because it's like a cozy view. So they talk about 6 seasons, and everybody in Finland knows this Ruska time, which is right now, this time with the autumn colors. And the weather forecast right now, it is quite variable. There will be showers, but it will not be raining all the time, but it will also be quite warm. Maybe some frost, some night, but not during daytime yet. Of the 19th century, but since then it has been the capital, and it is the biggest city here in Finland. The second largest city in Finland lies straight to the west of Helsinki. That's Espoo, just on the other side of the border, and they have some 280,000 inhabitants. So then comes, only then as third comes a big industrial city in the center part of Finland. So the population is really very much concentrated here in the south, and people still keep moving to the capital region, as we call it. So it has been growing fast. Still in the 1950s in Finland, almost 70% of the population was low and 500 kilometers wide, that is 300 miles. So the climate is quite different in up north and down south here. So we have about 3 months here with snow on the ground here in Helsinki, but usually so much snow that you can do cross-country skiing in Helsinki too. And as you can see, there's a lot of green, there's a lot of forest here. We have a lot of parks in the city, and we do have a central park so you can almost start in the center of the city and start skiing and come all the way out to the wilderness. So the Finns are very nature-loving persons. We do have a lot of forest too in Finland. It has been called it is a country of forests and lakes. And still today 70% of Finland is covered by forest. We do have a lot of lakes too. When I went to school I was taught that Finland has 60,000 lakes. Today they have counted them all, so we know we have 188,000 lakes in Finland. So we do have a lot of water. Many of the lakes are shallow though, but anyhow there's a minimum size. So well, we do have a lot of water and a lot of forest. And hence the forest related industry has been and is very important here. Attitudes here in Finland are quite liberal, and like to be a little bit, they like to have their, to be aloof, to be alone. once in a while. And there is a difference in attitudes in say Central Europe, Southern Europe, and here in Finland. You know, in Finland, if you don't go, if somebody's sitting alone, if you don't go close and talk with him, that's an act of politeness. You are polite not to disturb. You leave people to their own peace. So you don't talk all the time. And they had made they made a study of how people of different nations act when they come to a beach. And if you take Italians, they come to a beach, there's somebody, the first family comes there, picks the best place, and well, we can start with the Finns. The first family comes, picks the best place, let's say it's the middle of the beach. And then comes the next family, and then they just measure which is the longest way from the first family, and then they sit there. And then comes the next and next, and they always take the biggest possible distance from the families that are there from before. And this is a polite way to do it. So the beach, you know, it gets crowded in a different pattern than in Italy. If somebody is there already when the second family comes, they look, well, they must have chosen the best place. And then they go straight besides them to sit. And you stick together in Ireland, yes. Talk 20-30 centimeters, but in Finland you have to keep a little bit of a distance. It's just customs, these things, no problem with that. Left you can see the yellow ones. They are a little bit older, from the beginning of the 20th century. They used to have very small flats in its time, but they are quite attractive buildings, and today there are no big differences between the different parts of the city. A lot of university people and young urban yuppies live in this part of the city today. In Helsinki, it's the most attractive places are close to the center of the city, and especially if you have the possibility to walk to your work, to your job. That's really a privilege. So usually apartments are more expensive in the center. We do have big suburbs. Actually, the Finnish dream is to have a house of one's own at the shore of a lake and in the center of the city. We do have suburbs with a lot of individual houses, but then say a radius of 1 or Helsinki is also famous for its many Jugend houses, this architectural style that's called Art Deco, and we have some of them in this district too, on our right now, for example, but also quite modern houses on our left. The most which is built now in the city is always apartment buildings, housing. Industries have been moving out from the city, and the city has built a new harbor also. It is on schedule, and it was scheduled to be completed in November 2008. That's next month, and it will. So very much land will be freed. You know, different harbor functions will move there. Also the cargo harbor, the fish harbor, the oil harbor, and on all this land the city has decided to build houses. So there will be a lot of construction going on in Helsinki for the decades to come. most buildings in Finland are actually quite new, but we are now in a relatively old part of the city. On our left, after a little while, is an old market hall. Every town in Finland has a market square. The Finns love to go and buy their fruit and vegetables on the market. Fish is also sold on the market, and arts and crafts and souvenirs. But you cannot sell meat products in the market in the open air outdoors. So there's always an inner market hall, and we have one here on our left hand side. This is called one of the most genuine here in Helsinki. It's 90 years about this inner market hall, and a very popular place. In Finland too, very many are thinking about the environment. People think green, and in the inner market halls it's you can get very this bio friendly products, so they are very good products there, and you can see the market square on our left hand side. And this is really still the blue collar district. In front of us we have a building with the main central labor unions. In this building they also have the metal labor union there, and the railway workers in this building on our left. And we are coming to a bridge that's called the Long Bridge. It's not very long today, but it used to be the longest here in Helsinki, and it used to historically be a dividing bridge. The blue collar, the workers living on this side, now we are on the Long Bridge, and the burghers living on the other side. Also most of the historical center of the city is on this side of the Long Bridge. On our right is a big park that also houses the Helsinki University greenhouses, and a new has been planted, a new university garden, but it has not been open to the public yet, but the older one is still here. And we're driving via the railway station here in Helsinki. And the railway station is of course the very center, in the sense that that's the point where the distances in Finland towards Helsinki are counted. It is the point zero in that sense. Finland got its railway 1862, and that's quite a long time ago, and maybe you know there's a difference between the railway in Western and in Eastern Europe. There was in the 19th century there were no international standards, so we have the Eastern European Railway here. From Helsinki you can take a train to St. Petersburg every day, 2 trains and 1 to Moscow every day. And the railway station here on our right hand side. The building is from 1904. Of course there was a station before too, but this is the newer railway station. It's considered to be the main work of architect Elia Saarinen, a very famous Finnish architect. And we have the railway station square on our right hand side. On our left, the museum, the Finnish National Museum Ateneo, with a very good collection of paintings, of course, from Finland, especially from our golden age. And more of the railway station here on our right hand side. Underground is the central station, central subway station too. And of course the railway station, this is the central station. The subway, we have only one line, mainly it goes towards the east, but they have already made a decision that it will be widened towards the west too. And as you can see, we have a tram there on our left hand side. Helsinki is the only city in Finland to still have trams. We intend to keep them. They are very popular and they do not pollute. So we have just built a new tram line and we are changing the older one, so there's quite a lot of roadworks going on because of the building of the tram lines. Now the traditional coloring of the trams is yellow and green. There have been a lot of votes about this. The authorities wanted to have orange trams because of safety reasons, but the Helsinki inhabitants, they want to have them green and yellow. So they still are mainly green and yellow. If you see a tram in another color, then it is maybe an advertising tram, or it is all red tram, then it's a pub. So it has a name too, it's called Sporakov, so you can have a beer, take the tram, and it has a circular route, and then you can look at the city. It's very, of course, a very popular tram. Finns love beer. So I think the Irish don't like it too. Yeah, Guinness, you can get it here. We do have small breweries here in Finland too. Some of them have been bought up by bigger, you know, like Carlsberg, the Danish. They have been bought up, but they are still, the beer is produced here. But there is one called Olvi, and that's all Finnish owned, and all they still. It's very good too, the Olvi beer. And you can see we are in the very center, we are very close to your hotel. On our right, the yellow building is our main post office. On our right, when we drive a little bit further, is a modern building, that's a museum of modern art, Kiasma. And on our far left you see a shopping center with the text Kamppi. That's a central bus station, it's underground there. And on our right now, up on the hill, we have the Parliament of Finland. The main building. I will tell you more about this tomorrow on our sightseeing, but that's the Parliament, and this building on our immediate right is now the new annex to the Parliament. The main building is from the 1930s and this annex is from 2005. And we have our hotel is the next building on our left. So you can see you are really in the very center here. And the first bus is just leaving there. So I think it will be quite fast because the whole group is not coming at the same time into the hotel. So the big building on our right on the hill there is the Parliament, and this is the new annex. And we also have a school on university level here on our right hand side. This is the Sibelius Academy, the musicians get instruction there, and your hotel on your left. The building here in front of the hotel is the Museum of Natural Science. And here we come. Those of you who have gotten your keys, you have them, and those of you who do not have them,
when she said she couldn't dance unless she had a wellies up, but when she had it on, she would go as quick as any. She wouldn't go to bed unless she had a shimmy on, but when she had it on, she would go as quick as any. Ricky-doo-a-dum, ricky-doo-a-daddy-o, ricky-doo-a-dum, right for daddy-o. She had lovers by the score, every time they could hurry. She was curtain like a day, but still she wouldn't marry. Then she fell down with a fellow with a stammer. Well, he tried to turn away, he hit him with the hammer. But the ricky-doo-a-dum, ricky-doo-a-daddy-o, ricky-doo-a-dum, right for daddy-o. She had children on the stairs, she had children in the briar. Another time of well, singing room running fire. Spent them all the days on a soup spread and and loves of curry bacon that she boiled with a kettle. When we ricky-doo-a-dum, ricky-doo-a-daddy-o, ricky-doo-a-dum, right for daddy-o, ricky-doo-a-dum, ricky-doo-a-daddy-o, ricky-doo-a-dum, right for daddy-o. When you talk about songs, we, of course, we can't forget Steve the Man, Tipperary, come in Tipperary. Alone, alone, by the way, for the strap, and no forgets the sweet maiden I met in the valley sleep on. That was first I ever born. I asked my mother, what would I be? Would I be handsome? Would I be rich? This is what she said to me as she said, kiss her once a while. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Kiss her once a while. When I was young, I fell in love. I asked my sweetheart, what lies ahead? Will there be rainbows day after day? These are the things she said. Kiss her once a while. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Kiss her once a while. What will be, will be. Kiss her once a while. Hey, okay, we had Tipperary, Longford. Oh, how lovely to be on the shores of Lochreed on a beautiful midsummer's morning, looking over the banks of the Heather and Lee to the memories I've never forgotten. I went to my home to the hamlet that glow, to the three jolly pigeons. There was near lesson time on the road I sat down, and the memories of never forgotten. Lochreed, where the three counties meet. Longford was Meath and Roscommon. Let's go down the banks of the Heather and Lee, to the memories of never forgotten. I went from my home to the town of Rathlone, among timbers and concrete. There was finally an answer to the upon me. Lochreed, where the three counties meet. Longford was Meath and Roscommon. Let's go by the banks of the Heather and Lee, and the memories of never forgotten. Now we have a couple of people from the county Leitrim. Last night I had a pleasant dream. I woke up with a smile. I dreamt that I was back again in dear old Erin's. I thought I saw the Adam's banks in the valleys down below. She was my lovely leaves of the shadow of all the snow. I stood enchanted by the stream of grandeur and delight. I headed on for Carricktown before the dark of night. I passed Shimore, the fairy hills where the wildflowers grow. I saw the grave of Bill McCool where the shining waters flow. The next I saw was Beantown, where the ancient Derby wall, where the preaching of our holy monks re-echoed to the hall. I stood with rebels on the spot, they looking forward to go. For the town of saints and sages where the Shannon waters flow. I've traveled far from these lands, from the east unto the west. But of all the islands I have seen, to lovely leaves where the shadow waters flow. It will be to lovely leaves where the shadow waters flow. Lovely leaves. Now, somebody asked for Fill the Fingers Ball. Fill the Fingers Ball is nice and clean. And of course, we've lots of fling dances with us here today. Nice little dance floor too. So if you like dancing, have you heard the flute from the town of Ballymun? Time's going hard with the back of Ballymun. So we just knows to his name was one of all. That's how we like to come and eat the evening at the ball. When the night is careful, you suggest if the fire hat was convenient, use the door. The more that put in, whatever he requests, and the better is the easier for the button on the floor. With the tooth and the flute and the wiggle and the pillow, up in the middle like a hair's on. Up down, hands right across the wall. Oh, hat me giddy, then the flute is ball. There was Mr. Dennis Down, and he kept the running down. Little crooked Paddy from the team on the ball. Never by Snuggy Barney, and games in every yard. The beautiful was pretty in the private house. A lot of them kept fights in the scaffolding. Little Mick Mulligan was also for Rose, Suzanne, and Mark around. Back the bottle and the bride of the hole. With the two, down and quid, up in the middle like the herons on the roof. Up down, hands just toss you the ball. Don't be giddy and build the big ball. And the little with the little crooked Pat. I think so every time so he would pass around the hat. So Paddy was the puppy riding, looked at Daddy cute. See that the little fighter went to the field. All joined in with the great Mr. Rabbit. Come, he walked along the shovel and the club. Cheeks were in fence, the finest ball. Wind and the company and honey and the flute. Way down to the flute and wiggle and the pillow. Up in the middle like a herons on the field. Up down, hands went across to the wall. Hat me giddy, and the flute is ball. With the two, the flute and the twiddle and the fiddle. Up in the middle like a herons on the field. Up down, hands went across to the wall. Oh, hat me the giddy, and the flute is ball. Fill the flute. When you talk about sounds, I think the ice cream was made everywhere. Lovely. Beautiful. Great Irish sounds. Seamus Quinn is going around with more ice cream. So anyone that wants more ice cream, put your hands up. And close my eyes and picture the emerald of the sea. From the fishy walls to the shores of Dungadee. On Mr. River's shine and the lots at Skilbury, the moonlight and the meadow, the 40 shades of green. Most of all I'm a girl to Tipperary town. Most of all I'm sweet, sometimes I'm alone. Again I want to see the things we've done at sea, when the breeze is sweet and shallow, the 40 shades of green. I wish I could spend the night in Dublin's churning surf. I'd love to watch the curtain rain the ball and spread the turf. To see again the patching and the straw the women do. I'd walk from home to learn to sing the 40 shades of green. But most of all, I'm a girl most of all I'm sweet, the self that I know. Again, I want to see the things we've done and seen, where the breeze is sweet and shallow, the 40 shades of me, where the breeze is sweet and shallow, and the 40 shades of me. I shall greatly Irish. Well, if you're Irish, come into the parlour, there's a welcome there for you. And if your name is Timothy Pack, so long as you come from Ireland, there's a welcome on the back. If you come from the lands of war and the Galari's lakes, so we'll sing you a song, we'll make you fuss, wherever you are, you're one of us, we're Irish, just a list for you. All we need is McNamara, I'm the leader of the band. Although we're small enough around the singing the land, all we play in mix and weddings, every fancy ball. And don't we play a funerals, we play the merchant song. Oh, the tongues go back and the cymbals and the harp that is away. McCartney bangs the elders in the band and they're the play. And as he tells you to the food, the music is something grand. I grand the two old Ireland, McNamara's band. There we go on, you're only joking, there we go on. You're gonna be late, there we go on. You're only joking, go on, go on, go on, go on, go on. You're gonna be late. Will she lay on me arm and a twinkle in the eye, I'll be up to Tipperary tomorrow. Will she lay on me arm and a twinkle in the eye, I'll be welcome in the home where I was born. We want the truck, the wheels have gone to 79. Fill the flute is coming out, you'll take me round the town. Will she lay on me arm and a twinkle in the eye, I'll be up to Tipperary in the morning. Now, breakfast is from 7:30 to 10:30 in the morning. Breakfast from 7:30 to 10:30. The swimming pool is open in the morning from 7, I think it's 7 a.m. 7 a.m. Finola says 6. 6 o'clock the swimming pool is open, so we feel like a little dip and a sauna, whatnot before breakfast. Swimming pool is open at 6 in the morning. The swimming pool is opposite reception. Opposite reception, you head towards, just across from reception, and you head to the sauna. Open at 7. Open at 7. The swimming pool is open at 7. Yeah. And swimming pool at 7. Breakfast from 6:30 to. The pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer is gone and all the clouds are dying. Is you, it is you, must go. Oh, call me back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. 'Tis only here with sunshine or in shine. Oh, Daddy. And when we come, and all the flowers are dying, and I shall hear the soft tune above me, and all my way will warm and sweet me. If you will beg and tell me that you love me, then I shall sit in peace until we part two. Thank you. What a good Irish song. Thank you both. Bachelor me into 23. I don't intend to marry or to reach a family. I'm happy and contented to lead a single life, and that's the reason why I never tend to take away the rest for a fingernail varnish on a toe. Rattle and the rope is such a whitewash on a road. You get the fancy power, the shivering your head, and that's why I'm a bachelor. I don't intend to let's turn in a market in a town of Mullingar. A friendly introduced to me the famous movie star. She's married in a tiny boardroom and a living dream. She thought she had a sucker in the bachelor on the street. The rest were on the fingernails, varnish on a tongue. Rattle and the round the sash and whitewash on a rose. She get the fancy power, the shiver in your head, and that's why I'm a bachelor. I don't my brother is in the Canada. I'm earning 70 pounds a week for working on the farm. Why should I change the life of my one soon outside? And that's another reason why I never take away the rest for all the fingernails, varnish and a toe. Rattle and they run for such a whitewash and a nose. You get the fancy barber, the shiver in your head, and that's why I'm a bachelor. I don't intend to marry. Okay, Marie Hughes is getting restless. Marie, get them all on the floor. Let's see all the girls, first of all, on the floor. Or as many girls as possible. If you feel like dancing, let's have a little circle, first of all, and as many girls as possible. Some say the devil is dead, the devil is dead, the devil is dead. Some say the devil is dead, and buried in Killarney. More say he rose again, more say he rose again, more say he rose again. He married in the garden. Pigs and make the cows, make the cows, make the cows. Let's have the ladies first. There it is, one big circle of girls. Cock the leg up, paddy, cock the leg up, paddy, cock the leg up, paddy. Try to stop the yawn. Some say the devil is in, the devil is in, the devil is in. Some say the devil is in, and they're in Killarney. More say he rose again, more say he rose again, more say he rose again. He married in the garden. She is tall and thin, tall and thin. Now make the circle bigger, come on a few more. Like to double whiskey. She drinks it in the bed at night. She drinks it in the bed at night. She drinks it in the bed at night. She says it makes her sense. Some say the devil is in, the devil is in, the devil is in. Some say the devil is in, the very in Killarney. More say he rose again, more say he rose again, more say he rose again. He married in Killarney. Now, how we doing? There's still room for a few more ladies on the floor. Let's have the gents this time on the inside. So as many men as possible on the inside. Come on, fellas.
Many men as possible.
Will you live in the eye? Let's think you in the eye. Will you live in the eye? Let's turn the light. I work in the home around the floor. Mother told the neighbors we're going to celebrate. Then the flute is coming out to take me round the town. Will she live in the eye? And we don't make on the floor at all. Let's see. long way to Tipperary. It's a long way to go. It's a long way to Tipperary, to the sweetest girl I know. Goodbye, Piccadilly, farewell, Leicester Square. It's a long, long way to Tipperary. Troubles and you both keep right and smile, smile, smile. I could be troubles and you both keep right and smile. Boys dance to the sky. Once the suffering, it never was worthwhile. So I could be troubles and you both keep right and smile, smile, smile. We're on the one road. We're on the road to God knows where. We're on the one road, thinking of London, and we're together now. Who cares? Macbeth and comrades on, juggling round fast, working on the one. We're on the one road, singing along, singing a soldier's song. We make a bonfire of our song. Days away, and when they all go up in smoke time, we'll run, make sure they come out the way when the bonfire keeps on burning. Happy days will be returned. Let this play, how we will watch them blaze away. Let this play, how we will watch them. Nonsense, right? I think the ice cream ability of us. First old time waltz of the evening, I'm going to make it a lady's choice. So when Irish eyes are smile, sure is like a morning spring, and the lail of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. But when Irish eyes are smiling, she'll steal your heart away. Did you ever go across the sea to Ireland? Maybe it's the closing of the day. You must sit and watch the moonlight over Lana and see the sun go down on Galway Bay. Just to hear again the rumble of this rising. To sit beside the top fire in the cabin and watch the bird who comes and dies to play. up in the north in the old town road, a pretty little girl, oh my own, she's the sweetest girl that I has ever known. It's to the start of love I'm born, and we look at the little girl that goes in the county of Tyrone. There's cute little girls in old Commander, just as pretty in my mind, and we see every road that I so. All of you need. Well, I'm not going to take to me, so you can against my eyes. I'm a little girl from home in the county of Tyrone. Stop the world and let me up. I'm tired of gold and pride. I play a game of love and lust. Don't stop the world and let me run. Dreams of shadow, don't you see? That you belong to me. It's a wonder of this. How could you leave me here like this? Stop the world and let me up. I'm tired of gold and ride. I play the game of love and lust. Don't stop the world and let me out. Don't stop the world and let me out. Was done can be carried in this country. If the grand old couple there came to Patsy, one day the golden wedding and golden wedding day. I've come over here and kissed you and said, but I'm there on the princess and the coat of evergreen. You got me happy hour and I found your there's a golden wedding and I want you all to know. That's when we left when we were that's another village green. You had me in your arms and kind of called me your buddy. Your hair was black as ribbon and I was turning grey. I'm over here by sweet down here and this green. And the round bridges and the court of green. Got me happy Ireland, but I'm there on the way. There's a golden wedding and I want you all to know. And so much we have to do. I come over here, my sweet, I feel right next to you. And say, under the bridges and the court of the green. You got me happy, darling, and I'm there on the way. And it is a golden wedding, and I want you all to know. That's when we look when we were away, 50 years ago. When we look when we were away. For the Siege of Venice, here we go! Four facing four, here we go! Now, four facing four, right down the hallway, that's it, four facing four. Four facing. Not for too long. No. How are you fixed? 4 facing 4. There's room for more, yeah? I think when you're ready, mind the doors, here we go. and a little bit of that, then shake your bum. With a little bit of this and a little bit of that, then shake your bum. With a little bit of this and a little bit of that, then shake your bum. Let's get outside. La 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 la.
Yes.
Oh, they're really getting in touch with Go on.
Now, just to tell you about the itinerary for tomorrow. We gather at 10 minutes to 11. The buses are pulling out at 11 sharp tomorrow morning. So, and once again, I'd like to remind you of the lovely, luxurious swimming pool we have here. Because some of you have experiences, you know? It's wonderful. There you go. You miss anyone with togs? And even if you haven't got togs. As a witness tonight. Lovely swimming pool, and if you don't want to swim, there's a lovely sauna. But we leave actually at 11 sharp in the morning. So everybody down from 10 to 11 and on the bus and whatnot. We come back here, we're going on the ferry tomorrow. We're back here at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock we're back, and then we're moving out at 7. Is that right, Brian? 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. We're moving out tomorrow at 7 o'clock for a gala folklore night. A night with a difference, we're told. That's all we're told. A night with a difference. Anything could happen. Anything could happen tomorrow night, okay? So, folklore night tomorrow, everybody down. So we'll be back for 4 o'clock. You get plenty of time to change and whatnot. And fantastic buffet food, whatever laid on tomorrow night. Thanks for being very special night, your special night tomorrow. Okay. Now, before we do, if there's any singers or whatnot, I know we did have a request for James. Is James with us? James Arnold with us? Oh, James is here. This is a man from Tipperary and great character. This man actually must have walked about 5 miles today because I actually lost him for a minute. And when I went to pick him up again, he was actually a few miles up the road. But I didn't get him. But he said, sure, he says, I'm going for my 5-mile walk, he says. So, great man, and he tells a few different yarns, he tells a few different parables. He's all the way from Tipperary. One of the great characters here. James, what can I say?
It's not what you say, it's what I might say. Somebody persuaded me this morning that we were going after a museum. So I followed the crowd as usual. They won't see me if I stand out there. So I followed the crowd as usual, expecting to see an old-fashioned scythe or something like that. I was in anyway, and brought into a room, and they asked me what did I see on the wall. So I had a good look, and I came to the conclusion that it was the clothesline, and that there were hankies hanging on the wall. But I just thought to myself that whoever it was that pulled out the washing, there was one of them that could put in for another room. However, there was more to be learned there on that trip this morning. I found myself eventually in a room with several round stones, as I thought, all around. And somebody asked me what I think of those. I couldn't arrive at any conclusion about what whatsoever. But I did notice the ladies sitting on them and shuffling around, and I came to the conclusion they were just trying them for size. But if anybody had asked me what it was, I would have told them it was Goldilocks trying the beds. But we had more to learn, because eventually they brought us into a room with an outsized figure sitting up with his hands full, both hands full. And there was an overflow from both hands full, and the overflow had landed all over on the floor. And I just wondered what on earth was that. And I came to the conclusion that that was the effects of the people who planned this week away for us. They had with more than we expected. But my thought went back to the man sitting with his hands full. And I just thought to myself, we're enjoying ourselves so much. And something that we've had no control over whatsoever. We've had wonderful weather. And if that big figure sitting there with his hands full and flowing over, and all the things on the floor were all the blessings that God has given to us, it was an apt picture for the day. Now, I don't know, some of you made reference already to the Wesleyan Connection, the WC. Now, I belong to the Wesleyan Connection, but I'm nothing to be ashamed of. But we'd like to hear a good story told against ourselves. And there was the conference which meets in June every year. They appoint the various ministers, go to various circuits and various churches all over the country. But this was the time when lady ministers, they were just about coming in, but they weren't always very acceptable. And one day they was appointed to a church somewhere, and some of the people, the men there, weren't too happy about it at all. But this good lady, sensible lady that she was, she knew this other man was a fisherman. And she said she'd get in with him and try and get to know him better. And because he was fond of fishing, she offered to go out with him on the boat one day. And while they were out, by circumstance, I don't know how it happened, didn't his wallet fall out of his pocket and fell onto the water. And of course, the boat was going on and leaving the wallet behind on top of the water. So this very good lady got out of the boat, walked on the water, picked up the boat, and walked back into the boat again. And the man says, well now, it was bad enough for the conference to send us a woman, but to sending us a woman that can't even swim, that's the worst. Where's Lizzie gone? Have I done enough?
Yeah, you know, James, we could listen to you all. We'd like to hear another one. You would? This man, you know, the museum, it was all about using your imagination. And his imagination, definitely. Yes, he really did take it all in. I'll not comment on what other people thought about it. But James really did take all that in. It was all about, yeah, it was all about using your imagination and whatnot. But he's another one, haven't you? You have another special, yeah.
I'm stuck for words.
Just,
That's what's more, even the wife isn't here to prompt me. And she warned me I wasn't going to bed tonight. However, no, listen. Oh, sure, you asked me to sing.
not only can he tell the Irish good imagination, he can sing and he can dance. And what's this? He's going to take a rabbit over here, is he? But
trouble is that I can neither sing nor dance. And to make matters worse, my memory is gone. And I forget words. So because I got the hint from Disney earlier in the day, I tried to recollect the words of the song. And I have one or two headlines here. Open that for me and see if you can recognize what the song is now, Desi. Come on now. There you are now, a smart man like you. Come on, Desi. What is it?
I'll leave the smart out of it now. I don't know which the start or part. Well, I'll leave the start. Big glasses.
You need more than your glasses.
Who's getting old here?
Do you know the tunes for Fill the Fluters? Now I can't sing Fill the Fluters, I've forgotten the words. But I have no. Just a minute, again.
Well, that's not
You're the one I want to sing it all.
Oh, is it not? Is that not Philip Cooper, no?
I can't think of the first line.
Is it on that, no? There was Riley, Hogan, that's it. There was Riley, Hogan, Hogan, jumping, the lady's donkey, that's the one you want.
I couldn't think of that word. The lady had a donkey that everyone admired. The lady had a donkey that everyone admired. Personally lazy, perpetually tired. A leg is every corner, dancing his head, and a tail to let you know he didn't want to be fed. Riley Smiley says we want to rent it. I'm not trading it for the half my head. Call me Brandy, Flinty at the ribbon. Gosh, a rag and rumble it up and down again. And he brought it to the beginning of the floor. There was Riley, pushing it, pushing it, pushing it, going, pushing it, jumping it, cause we don't know the words and no one will care. There was Hogan, everyone in town, lined up, side on, at the country ground. But the mice went and ran to knock them all down. The donkey was lying and thinking of surprising them, looking at them, thinking, waving at his tail. That was in the door. The muscles of the machine never could flinch. They couldn't push the donkey a quarter of an inch. The donkey was denying them, slowly defying them, twisting, clinking, twisting at the time. Riley reversing it, everybody cursing it, because again his donkey wouldn't run the race. The muscles of the machine never know to flinch. They couldn't push the donkey a quarter of an inch. Delaney lay exhausted, hanging round his floor with the gig. What's we wish a 20 shilling note? Start.
Well, you know, Jim, how can I say? Oh, he's another verse. It's a sad verse.
How can I sing it if he doesn't know the other verse?
Let's hit the sad verse. It's a sad verse.
Starter, like all the rest of them. When he seen them, he was willing them. Gassed up, braced up, ready for the best of them. They all began to cheer it, so he changed his mind again. It was, oh yes, yeah.
The God is not music there. I knew we were missing something. You know?
The bit that I'm missing is on in the seat with trousers.
Oh,
There's none of it up there nowadays.
it's okay. Now, we're here till 12 o'clock tonight. I'm sorry, we should get finished. Oh, I can keep playing.
Starter, like all the rest of them. When they saw them, it was ready then. Raced up, ready for the best of them. And all the cheer, but he changed his mind again. There was Riley pushing it, shooting it, shouting it. Hogan, Logan, Mary and McGraw. She started poking it, grabbing it and choking it, and made it. She started poking it, pushing it, and choking it, put her in the buttocks and he got it. He got it, Liberals and Tories, hurrying with the police, stood there in unity, and the black unity, pushed the ladies down in the half-mile race. We began to cheer it, Can you see the words came up to us? He was riding, little John McGee was so thoroughly disgusted, he went home to get his tea. And begging strings of mythology, for they were cheated with some dynamite. On it, brought it, then without apology, the donkey gave a sneeze and blew the darts out of sight. There was Hogan, Riley, pushing it, shoving it, shushing it, Hogan, Logan, all the valley crew. Police and auxiliary, the garrison, the artillery, the second, the skins, and the road cars too. The seized it and buried it, picked it up and carried it, steered it to the winning side. Movies on the side and committed suicide because the latest donkey won the high race. I can tell you something, that's the last thing they asked me to sing for you.
James, you can listen to this legally. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. James Arnold is all with Terry. Now, Macy, have you a few people do a two-hand read? We have. Okay, who'd like to dance the two-hand read? Two-hand read, we have requests for. Or if you never danced a two-hand read before, this is your chance because we have special instructors flown in from Strado, amazing, who's going to teach the two-hand read. Even if you never danced it before.
we'll have to walk you down the white rail.
Well done, Cynthia. Look at it. Fine exhibition of dance. God, there's no stopping on tonight. What talent we have. Now, have you anyone that would like to do something that we haven't called on yet, or Philomena Smith, is she with us tonight? There's a lady who does a recitation. Philomena Smith. Is Philomena with us tonight? She's here. Look at this. Sitting right in front of me. Of course, Philomena, wherever she goes, she always has a recitation. Or two, or three. Especially for the occasion. She's just drinking the drop of the hard stuff before she comes up. And here she comes. Give her a big round of applause. Yes, Philomena Smith. Come on, Philomena. What's the gin like here?
Poor excuse after all the talent you have here.
Yeah, she's tops and
I was born and reared in Sandy Row and Loyal Orange Prod. I stood for good King William, that noble man of God. My motto, no surrender, my flag the Union Jack. And every 12th I proudly marched to Finnehy and back. A loyal son of Ulster, a true blue, that was me. Prepared to fight, prepared to die, for faith and liberty. As well as that, a Linfield man for as long as I can mind. And I have no time for Catholics or any of their kind. Then one night in Bangor, I met wee Rosie Green, and the minute I laid eyes on her, I knew she was my queen. And when I saw that she fancied me, my mind went all a blur, and I clean forgot to ask her what her religion was. Next time we met, I told her I'm a proddy, staunch and true. And she said, well, I'm a Catholic and just as staunch as you. Now the words were harsh and bitter, but you're suddenly like this, the centuries of hatred were forgotten in a kiss. I saved a bit of money as quickly as I could, and I asked her if she'd marry me, and God, she said she would. Well, the trouble really started. Her folks went raving mad, and when mine heard about it, they were twice as bad. My father said from that day on he'd hang his head in shame. And by some strange coincidence, her father said the same. My mother cried her eyes out, and she said I'd rue the day that I'd let a papish hussy steal my loyal heart away. And Rosie's mother said when she recovered from the blow that she'd rather see the devil than a man from Sandy Row. We were married in a papish church the other side of town. That's how Rosie wanted it, and I couldn't let her down. The priest, now he was very nice to me, and he made me feel at home. I think he pitied both of us. You see, our families didn't come. The room we went to live in, it had nothing but the walls. It was far away from Sandy Row and further from the falls. But that's the way it had to be, for both of us knew well that back among the crowd we knew, our lives would just be hell. Life out there for Rosie, it was lonely, well I knew, and indeed we had our share of religious problems too, like at dinner time on Friday when Rosie gave me fish. I looked at it and I looked at her and I said, "Them's not my dish." I mind well what she said to me. "You've got to pay the price, and sure to eat no meat on a Friday, well, it's a small wee sacrifice to make for Christ, who died for us one Friday long ago." Anyhow, I ate the fish and it wasn't bad, you know. On Sunday she got up for Mass, but I lay all in bed. But Rosie would have none of that. "Go to your church," she said. So we left the house together, but we parted down the line. She went off to her church, and I went off to mine. The weeks and months went quickly by, and then there came the day when Rosie upped and told me that a child was on the way. We went upon our knees that night, and we asked the Lord above to give our child two gifts in life: tolerance and love. Oh, the rows before the wedding, they were equally mild compared to all the fuss there was about this unborn child. Rosie's people came to say, the child must be RC, and mine said it would have to be a Protestant like me. The child must be a Catholic. The child must be a prod. But the last and loudest voice I heard was the mighty voice of God. And to his awful wisdom I had to bow my head.